Congratulations. You found the Twin Cities Hit Show.
Very well. Where do I begin?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Reach for this one.
And now, a real hit show.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
Live from the Twin Cities.
It's hump day.
Hump day?
It's the Twin Cities Hit Show.
Hump day? Huh? Anybody?
It's hump day.
Let's get this hit show started.
Hump day?
I found out for years that I misunderstood the meaning of this day, and I was making a lot of pets in my household uncomfortable.
You're demanding they hump your leg?
Yeah. And you know, I went through a whole reward system. They were getting fat, and I went and talked to the vet, and I realized, oh, hump day's a euphemism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting over the hump.
We should stop
no.
taking things so literally,
See, yeah,
Chuck.
Oh,
That's it.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it meant. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
In your long career as an officer, did you ever arrest yourself?
I had an embarrassing incident where I got handcuffed to the bumper by accident. I can't explain it. It's
You can't explain it.
yeah.
I can
Things
explain
happen.
it, probably.
Things happen.
You are somebody's very loud.
Shannon is coming in hot.
Thank you.
There we go.
I'm loud anyway,
So Cinco de Mayo was yesterday. Did anyone celebrate, do anything on Cinco? You did.
Yes.
Chuck is nodding. He
Okay,
did.
Yes. I went to Lakeville mainstay Teresa's, which was packed full.
Nice.
And then I went to the new Lakeville Mexican restaurant,
Taco Bell.
No, that was the fallback because with
Chipotle.
lack of planning, you don't walk into a Mexican restaurant on Cinco de Mayo and expect to eat.
Now, I did the Tony Fly show yesterday, and
Yes.
they were Cinco de Mayoing, and they had a band called the Havana Gypsies.
Oh, nice.
And they bumped in with it, and it's all this salsa-type music. I was there for a couple of 3 segments. By the 3rd segment, I think, I had to finally go, Tony, they're from Havana. They have nothing to do with Mexico.
Geography's hard.
They might as well be an Irish band for all you're doing here. And he's like, shut up.
Did he sound like
He's like,
Dennis
it sounded
Quaid?
festive.
Did he sound like Dennis Quaid when he found out that the whoever booked it picked the wrong country?
It's like, I mean, if you're walking by, you're like, oh, that's kind of Latin music, sure.
Yeah,
but
he's like,
they're
there's
called,
no mariachis or anything. Is what we do.
But it's like they're called Havana Gypsies.
What kind of dickhead bullshit? Who booked this in the wrong
no.
country?
No, I'm sure he was very much like,
You're headed that way too, right?
Yeah, yes, I will be there this afternoon. I'm going to go and hang out with them for a while and get ready for the show
And
this
we'll
evening.
see you tonight then at 11 o'clock on
On
May
the
29
fly.
on the fly. And then
Yeah.
you're showing up as a character on the
Yeah.
show, Chuck?
You know, he does our Q, your A, and I
Yes.
answer those from time to time. He's had me go on a couple times and put. So today I'm uncomfortably borderline naked on my bed talking about the thing that I...
And when he says uncomfortable,
Never
he
mind.
means uncomfortable for all
everybody
of his viewers.
else. I was
Not
very
him. He
comfortable.
looks fine.
Yeah,
Yes, we've seen the video, and you'll have to see it for yourself. But warning, you will not be able to unsee it.
That's what I was going to say. It'll be one of those, can I bleach my mind at all? Can I bleach it?
Dave Letterman had a Cinco de Mayo top 10 list, and it was when you know you're at a bad Cinco de Mayo party.
El Masties.
Okay, here we go. And because it's Cinco de Mayo, all the numbers will be cinco.
Okay. All the items
All the items.
will be cinco. That's good.
Numero cinco.
There we go. Here.
Ted Cruz shows up, threatens to deport you.
Yeah.
Numero cinco. A mariachi band only knows taps. Numero cinco. It's actually a Kinko's de Mayo party. Numero cinco. Rental Burrow has a terrible disposition. Numero cinco. A guy from Sag Harbor shows up looking for horn players.
What? Oh, that was an inside joke. He always plays with the audience beforehand. So that was the guy from Sag Harbor. Okay.
They're communicating extraterrestrially
That's right.
in that way.
Numero cinco. At this party, pinata hits you.
It's you. What country?
Numero cinco. Only beverage option, tacotinis.
Yummy.
Numero cinco. Party host won't stop saying guac.
What?
Numero cinco. It's harder to leave than Scientology. Number one sign you're at a bad Cinco de Mayo party. Numero cinco, fewer than cinco guests.
His grasp of Spanish is impressive. I didn't know he spoke Spanish.
Cinco.
Multilingual.
Yeah,
on David Letterman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as strong as top 10, but there you go. Timely. And I was just recapping on the Cinco de Mayo. I got to fill in yesterday for the Twins talk because, unfortunately, Jeff DeBay is going through some issues.
Yes.
So at least for the interim, I'm hosting this Twins Tuesday
Okay.
out at Floyd's in Victoria. Have you ever been out there?
I love Floyd's.
I know. Isn't that fun?
I think
I
I
would
have,
be,
yeah.
and I work for the radio station that plays the Twins, and I will tell you this. I will be honest. I would not have been able to lead that show. It's way too much going on,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Way too much going
I
on.
studied
to be a
up.
Twins thing.
I studied
Okay.
up. I made sure to become more than a passive fan, which, I'm a bandwagon passive fan.
Right.
I was surprised. I don't know if you know this. Kirby Puckett no longer on the team.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, he's actually no longer on any
Ken
team.
Herbeck, gone.
Yeah. It happened so fast.
Yeah.
And they're a great bunch of guys, and I really enjoyed, being so close to the team. But they're, when I honestly, that is not my geek speciality. Is anything to do with baseball?
Well,
there's a lot of stats and numbers that I'm like, wait,
those-
back up.
The Twins are very hot right now,
Yes,
but everyone
very.
was excited last night because the Wild were in town, and they had to get one from the Blackhawks. And spoiler alert, did not happen last night.
Sport ball puck is not going well in Minnesota right now.
They got shut out at the X. I thought for sure they'd be able to
Yes.
take Game 3. But so it doesn't look like this will be our Stanley Cup year. And it's funny how fickle Minnesota sports is because in the last 10 days, things have flipped. First, the Twins sucked.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Wild were going to the Stanley Cup. And now, in a week and a half, the Twins are on. They're
on
hottest
fire
team.
right now.
They're the hottest team in baseball right now.
Yeah. So I am now into sport ball wood stick.
Okay.
I'm coming out. I'm done with sport ball puck. It's official.
Well, what you got to get on board with, my friend, is some angling. After the show tomorrow, we're heading up north. We're going to do our Thursday show live from the Southside Studios here in beautiful South Minneapolis, and then we head up to Lake Vermilion.
Are
yes,
either
we
of you
do.
the professional fisherman type? They're both like nope.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
What I did, though, I cracked out the fishing flannel shirts.
Oh,
I got a
Very
whole
nice.
collection. I said, I
Very
got to
nice.
see if these still fit.
very lumbersexual
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
Very, yeah.
It's
I-
going to be cold up
Yeah,
there.
it is.
A
Yeah.
good friend of mine is like super fisher guy. Like he used to host this fishing show and everything. So whenever I have a lot of questions about lures and he's our friend that we're like, if you find something in your garage that looks like a fancy lure, you send him a picture of it. He'll be able, that's a X15 X weight thing. And we go,
Dang.
well done. So he's that guy.
We may have to have him in this summer.
Yeah, we should. I am so serious about fishing. I took my son fishing last summer and the summer before. Please don't catch anything. Oh, God, I want to take that thing off the hook. It's gross. It's all slimy.
Well, the northerns are the slimy ones. Those
Okay.
are really
I don't know
you can
any
see
of that
slimy.
stuff. I know goldfish, and they are pretty, and I'm not trying to put a hook in them.
We
So-
are going to be at White Eagle Resort, just off property from Fortune Bay, but we'll be going live from Fortune Bay. And I Googled White Eagle.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
WER for those of you not in the know.
Beautiful resort, mom and pop resort. So going to be sending photos down to the WCCO morning show. They want to see what we're up to, so you can tune into Channel 4 and tune into this show as we go live from Lake Vermilion and
Yeah.
the Governor's Fishing Opener.
Well, and we have a scheduled warm up too. What I did, the guest today, in a little bit later, is our mayor from Lakeville, Matt Little, and he's going to be our warm up for interviewing politicians.
Nice.
So we can't say words like doot and doot and doot.
Well, let's get him on right now. He came in. He's here. He's. Are you coffeeed up, sir? Did you get your coffee?
I'm good to go. Let's do it.
You got to talk close to the mic
Yeah.
in this mom and pop
Yeah,
operation.
this isn't the city
here.
council
All right,
meeting
all
here.
right,
This is real live podcasting.
I feel weird calling you sir. You're like what, 19?
I'm a couple years older than that. Can I say a few things before we get started?
Yes, please do.
I just think I'm really pleased to be sitting next to Rusty Gatenby.
Oh, hey.
And so that's awesome.
Yeah, wow.
A
Thank
little
you.
starstruck, are you, Mayor?
Well,
That's nice.
Miss Shannon, you got a voice of gold.
Oh,
so
you're
that's
very
awesome.
kind.
And Chuck, good to see you.
Hey, I didn't expect even that gracious of a hello.
Hey.
He is quite familiar with our friend Chuck.
Chuck just said he wanted to go on a long vacation, Mayor. You got time every day between 9:30 and 10:30?
Now, how long have you been mayor? of Lakeville?
I've been mayor for 2.5 years, and I
Okay.
was on the city council for 2 years. I got elected in 2010 when I was 25.
What made you decide that you were going to become a politician?
I've always wanted to do it since I was a little kid. I think, my first political memory was coming home after the 2000 governor's election, and my dad disclosed to me that he voted for Jesse Ventura.
Yes.
And I proceeded to yell at him the rest of the evening.
You're ruining our community.
And I've since been vindicated in that. But
Although he didn't ruin us in those 4 years, we survived as a state.
we did survive, but we didn't go anywhere.
Okay.
Oh, see, like this view. Yeah.
With other governors, though, we did go other directions that weren't so good.
We certainly went somewhere. Yeah. Won't take a position on that.
I was surprised because I thought, oh my gosh, and I got to say, just as a lark, because I wasn't happy with the other two, I voted for Jesse just to make it interesting.
Yep.
And when he won, I was like, oh.
What have I done?
Oh, God. And at the time, Jesse, beforehand, he worked at AM 1500, so I got to know him on a friendly basis.
So you're like, he's a good guy.
He actually
thought he was a nice guy.
surprised me. He must, the extent of his knowledge of politics, he's since gone on some conspiracy crazy journeys,
Yeah.
but I was surprised he did as well as he did. And then he started, toward the end, having meltdowns with journalists and media and all that. So that was interesting. But so that motivated you to go for office?
Well, I think one of the big factors in my life was high school debate. I was a huge nerd, and so you're constantly in the loop about what was going on, and I think that really formulated, my politics and my love for it, and how important it is, right? Because there's decisions that people are making on your behalf, and sometimes they are not the right decisions. And so since then, I've committed myself to being the one to make the decision because I think I can make a good one.
Yeah.
And is this a full-time position in Lakeville?
Some weeks it feels like it. And people ask me that a lot. I'm a part-time mayor. That's how we're structured,
Okay.
and I put about 20 to 30 hours a week into it.
Wow. So is it hard to have another job? Do you have another job?
Yeah, I'm actually a lawyer, and so I work full-time on top of being mayor.
Whoa.
See, that seems like that would make sense because he could be a
Wow.
lawyer
Yeah.
and then be mayor and still have the structural integrity to run the city. Because if Chuck and I decided we're going to be mayor and they're like, what do you do the rest of the time? Comedy. Yeah, I'm like, I don't think that people would really take us as a good mayor. Like, we got jokes.
Well, some people are unintentionally funny while they're in office. So I think it could work, actually.
So
you might have a shot.
What are the key issues that you have to deal with in a city like Lakeville?
Well, for Lakeville, we're the #1 residential growth city in the entire state of Minnesota. We build more single-family homes than any other
We're
city.
coming your way, Lakeville.
And if you are a young family looking to move into a house, you're looking at Lakeville.
But you have all of that space that off of 169 that I know has been developed and all of that. And but it's so far. Like, it's so
It's
far.
not that
It's
far.
far from everything
It's
other
not
than
that far.
Lakeville.
When I was a kid growing up in Wayzata, that was like, oh, you're going to Des Moines?
right. It smells of
now
corn and such.
Now it's not that far because the city has...
Where do you all live? Let's get your cities on the record here.
I live in Crystal.
Okay, where's that?
I can see tall buildings. And I feel like I can officially say I'm part of the Twin Cities, even though I'm in Crystal. In Lakeville, you used to be a bedroom community, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is there a dip in the road down on 35W where you can see the skyline and you're in Lakeville? I think there is, isn't there?
You can.
No, you're thinking of that's actually Burnsville's the really iconic view,
Burnsville. Oh, yeah. And then comes Lakeville.
I mean, if you got a ladder, we can work something out. But here's the
Buck
deal.
Hill. How far away is Lakeville from Buck Hill?
It's right on the border of Burnsville and Lakeville.
Yeah,
technically
okay.
in Burnsville.
Lindsey
So
Vaughn.
I've skied Buck Hill all the time.
Yeah.
We practically raised Lindsey Vaughn.
You know,
Oh,
here-
never mind.
it's actually not that close. I mean, you can get here in 20 minutes.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, it's hard to gauge. If only there was some sort of traffic report that was reliable. You
There
could really
used to
get
be.
it.
Yeah, it used to be. I don't know what
Zing.
Used to
happened.
be. For about 30 years, there's
Well-
a reliable reporter. Right?
My favorite thing about Lakeville is I do enjoy traveling to Lakeville as a big Renaissance Festival fan.
Oh, yeah.
And so I do get through
That's
there.
shocking.
I
That's
get
shocking
through.
me.
I'm saying I get
Oh.
through Lakeville. That's why I know they're developing
That
on
mixed stop is
169.
amazing. They have great granola bars.
You're off. You got to go to the left more.
Okay,
'Cause if
so I
you're
got to
coming
keep
from
going.
Crystal, you're going to miss Lakeville.
Come
But I
south
go
on
up through
35.
160.
No,
Okay, so I
35.
should.
35
See, I was
W is
trying to
Lakeville.
look for a reason to come through
So
Lakeville,
we're-
and they just had me go around you.
I have
to
a hot
go-
tub. You three. That just got weird.
Yes. Where did that come from?
What show did you just come from?
Never mind. The Sex Cast, the Great Northern Sex Cast, apparently.
Okay,
clean
back
it,
to Lakeville.
Clean it up while I'm on the show.
Back to Lakeville.
So sorry.
Okay, so yeah, because I used to live in Eden Prairie, so I'm just teasing. So I know where Lakeville is, and so I'm very familiar with it.
When I moved to Lakeville, I was a Bloomington cop at the time, and I remember our realtor kept saying, "Yeah, let's just check that." You know, realtors do that. I'm like, I think you might like this, and we kept going further and further south. I'm like, I'm not living in Lakeville. We looked at this house and the growth of the community, and I don't want to steal your platform here, Mr. Mayor, but the community is incredible. And there's honking horns in the background. The community is incredible. The sense of cohesion, this cool downtown, this 10-day long Panaprog, and it's when I worked.
What did you just say? Panaprog?
Oh, Panaprog. Everyone knows. I forget. People don't know what that is. Panorama of Progress, which is the annual. It take like Crystal.
I've never heard that word.
Whiz Bang Days.
Yes.
Or
Rosendale says the
and
is there in fact a lake?
Yes, there's a lake 7 blocks
Multiple
from my house.
Multiple
All right.
lakes.
Yeah,
Yes.
great lakes, great park system.
There are no
Great
Minnetonka. That's where I live.
So did you grow up? So Mayor, did you grow up in Lakeville?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did grow up in Lakeville. From where I was located, I went to Rosemount Schools. We don't talk a lot about that on the campaign trail. But yeah, I grew up there and graduated from Minnesota Morris, did a little time out in D.C., and then came back and ran for city council.
Yeah. That's another iconic moment because I remember the first time I met the mayor. He was running for council against a friend's dad. And I said, and you were out there in your suit at Panaprog passing out brochures in your suit in sweltering July. And I go, who is this punk kid who thinks he's going to become a city council member? Come on.
And here we are.
Yeah. And you've done a phenomenal job. You. I mean, politically, I really like what you've done with that city.
And it is actually cool. Like my ex-in-laws actually do live in Lakeville. I just like to tease it and
wanna
go the
learn-
opposite direction. So yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I want to learn more
He's like,
about...
don't disparage my city.
I want to learn more about your politics and your aspirations. But first, let's cover some overnight news and chime in on your opinion.
Sure.
Unfortunately, Minnesota making the news again for the wrong reason, though.
Why 2 men attacked a Texas exhibit featuring cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. A man who left Minnesota to join jihadi fighters in Somalia is linked this morning to one of those gunmen. Mujahid Miski communicated on Twitter with Elton Simpson. Watchdog groups that track online terror threats describe Miski as an important recruiter for ISIS.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, my
Minnesota is involved in the ISIS situation. That's just...
It's like Ground Central. A friend of mine is the lead agent on the FBI, JTTF, who just dealt with that big bust they had where they, what was it, 6 guys linked to ISIS. They were traveling around. They tried to go through San Diego to Mexico to Turkey to, I mean, this is Ground Central right now for terrorism in the United States.
Well, and then the shooting in Texas, 2 guys from, Phoenix grabbed their assault rifles, and they had been on the FBI's radar. The one guy was on probation for having terroristic ambitions. But
they seem to think that at the time that they were more of just Twitter terrorist type things. Like they didn't necessarily think that they were actually going to become physical or physical is the wrong word, but to actually like take out
action.
anything. Like you're correct.
And this time, it was a cartoon convention where the...
Now I saw different stories on that. I heard that it was actually a specific cartoon that was that they were encouraging people to have cartoon caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad.
Yep.
So from a lot of the stories I read, and nobody deserves to have violence, but I did feel like it was a group that was trying to incite this other group.
Yep.
It was battling religions, and then it turned into both of the... Now everyone looks bad, and there's been terrible things that happen.
Let's let John Stewart explain it, shall we? Here we go.
But who shoots up a cartoon contest? Granted, Ziggy's not what it used to be, but... You know, and I think Garfield's been coasting for a long time. Family Circus, those aren't even jokes. It's like an actual circus. It seeks to entertain, but it really just fills you with sadness. So what kind of cartoon contest there, as if I don't know, would provoke such a violent reaction?
A group called American Freedom Defense Initiative, notorious for its anti-Islamic views, hosting this award ceremony to give more than $10,000 to the best cartoon depicting the Prophet Muhammad.
Oh, see, that is f***ing crazy.
Well done.
$10,000 to a cartoonist?
See what he did there?
Yeah.
That's a 5-year salary. That cartoonist could almost consider quitting their 2 other jobs. I can't believe we have to reiterate this. It is not okay to shoot other people because you are offended by what they draw. Even if they drew it to offend you, no shooting of them. Never okay to shoot people. Never, ever okay.
And isn't it that simple? I mean, come on. It is that simple.
Lies the battle line. Again, this falls. I hate to turn serious for a second because this is what I teach my terrorism class a lot.
Wait, are you teaching pro or con?
I'm pro-terrorism. Yeah, it depends on the context. But no, I mean, we talk about the fundamental difference, and we are absolutely accelerating to this fine line of we are different and we think differently. And the Quran says it's okay, and that is their absolute guiding principle. And you can't stir it up and not expect problems.
Right.
And this group picked that venue because that was a venue that Islamic group used in the past when they spoke out against this type of stuff. So they picked that venue intentionally to incite them.
Exactly. And so now you have that problem. So it's like, how does that make them look any worse? It's not like they were sitting at home and just randomly decided to come up and do this.
Right.
You presented a target, and then you presented this target, and then when they took it, now you're like, see, look how they are. Don't present more targets, and then I can feel, I'm not sympathetic now,
right.
but I do agree with Jon Stewart. It's still not fine. I'm not encouraging it. I'm not saying it's okay what they did.
Yeah.
But now everyone looks bad,
right.
Kind of thing. I'm just disappointed in
You're
humans at this point.
You're on a slippery slope,
Yes.
and then the terrorists win, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not do anything to upset them. Fuck you. I'm going to draw a picture right now.
Yeah. And that's
just
what I get.
because of them.
That's what I get.
I never had the desire to do that. You can't let the terrorists win. I am going to go to the Mall of America. I am going to the Freedom Tower.
Still go to the Mall of America.
I am going to draw whatever picture I want to draw.
But here's the thing is that I'm not going to encourage you to do that because I think you're wrong too. I don't think that you should be making fun of other people. Personally, I don't think anyone should shoot you if you choose to make fun of them. But no, I don't think that you should automatically go, it's just cool to make fun of other people's religion. And that's what I think it is. It's still never okay to shoot you for having your opinion.
I think the Charlie Hebdo cartoons had a satirical point.
Yeah.
They weren't to just poke fun. They were making points.
But now if I sit there and go, I would like to encourage you to make fun, and I am going to sit there and entice you to make fun, and then be surprised that people are now mad at me, then no, I don't agree with you either.
It's almost like, we believe so strongly in this fundamental principle that we can say whatever we want. And that's why I side with Rusty. You know what? You want to push me on this? Guess what? I'm going to make fun of your prophet because it's a freedom of speech.
But it's not everyone. The whole thing is that it's not everyone. And so you are doing a disservice to people who are serious about this thing. Mm-hmm. And so if just because you know that there are some extremists who will go to this point,
right.
that still just it does a disservice to everyone else who is not a terrorist as well.
Right.
And so why sit there and go, I'm going to make fun of what your beliefs are because a few people have gone to this extreme.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. We are not going to fix this by these types of incidents. And we're not going to fix this by
we're not leaving
people.
here until we fix it. The show is going to stay on the air until we fix it. Mayor, fix this.
Yeah.
I will. Here. We are a country where you have an absolute right to say anything you want and express yourself in any way you want as long as it doesn't say you're going to hurt someone, right? But on the other side, you have an absolute right to be offended by anything people write. You have no right to commit violence.
Right.
But I think at the point in which we lose our right to say whatever we want and our right to be offended, then we are not the country we should be.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think we need to adhere to that. In terms of a political perspective or a policy perspective, it's almost impossible to get your head around this because policy is created to create rational outcomes. The mindset of violence is not rational.
Right.
This is not rational. So I think from people in my chair that are making decisions at a higher level, it's very difficult to get their hands around this.
Yeah. There's a number of books and articles I use in my terrorism class just talking about the...
I still can't get my head around that he has a terrorism class.
Hey, I'm like
That is a
educated in
scary
stuff.
thought.
Yeah, I know. I teach stuff to young minds. Oh, God.
That's frightening. You're right.
There's
That
an
terrorizes me.
Personally,
Thinking
as
about
a
it.
young mind, I've learned nothing from you. So
We'll
keep trying.
This is aimed at smart people. Just kidding, Your Honor. So I talked.
One of us is on a radio show. One of us is the mayor.
Well played.
Moving
Well
on.
I love
played,
this
Mayor.
guy. Yeah.
We
So-
would like to have the mayor on the radio show. Though.
Yeah, I guess I've been replaced. But I'll say this as my exit strategy. So I use an article talking about the staircase to terrorism. And it talks about the ascension for someone who's relatively mainstream but disenfranchised and how they are able to ascend this staircase of breaking down the inhibitions that are natural in all humans to not kill other humans.
Right.
The fundamental thing. And that final step they take where they're radicalized, they're disenfranchised, they're removed from society, they're removed from their relatives, and they finally take that step where they're willing to walk into this situation and start gunning down cops and innocent people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of people can get really, really far, but it's a special person that there's a whole brainwashing that occurs for them to take that last step where you are taking a human life in an intimate distance. It's really hard. There's books and books. Colonel David Grossman writes a great book about overcoming the inhibition to kill people for soldiers. Same thing. A lot of soldiers pull the trigger at the last second or aim somewhere else. It's incredible. And that's the fundamental difference because that's just not that common in our culture. We would not die for
And that's
religion
the
in
other
most
thing
cases.
that I said it on the other show. I can't believe that there are people living in this country, and specifically Minnesota, that aren't enjoying our culture and going, I don't want to kill people in this culture. Have you hung out with them? It's kind of nice. Have you gone down to Lakeville? They've got beautiful areas down there. Why? I don't want to. I don't understand how they're still on their internet world being brainwashed.
Right.
Just go outside. The leaves are green. You got a walking trail.
But part of what he said is that they feel disenfranchised, and not everybody gets to enjoy the situation the same way that we do. So they don't have the same access.
See.
They don't have that present that we have of this stereotypical American dream. And so when they can watch people like you and people like me and people like Chuck and go, but that's not my experience in this situation, then it's much easier for these things to take hold. And especially if they can see the way that because if you listen to BBC America, not everybody loves us. We love ourselves. That's awesome. Lots of other people don't. And then sometimes you see why there's a reason. We are not infallible or perfect. We're just pretty awesome and cool, and I'm glad I'm here. But, we don't, we make lots of mistakes, and these mistakes come back to bite us.
True. I would, seminal watching for anyone who's interested. Seminals, big word. Anyone who's interested in this topic has to watch this. It's called the Raga Omar Report from Minneapolis to Mogadishu. It's put on by Al Jazeera, which is not a terrorist broadcasting organization. It's a very fair, unbiased, probably one of the best international reporting organizations. And he talks about the Minneapolis scene of Somalians. And my analysis of his analysis is this. We have an entire pocket of 25,000 documented Somalians living in Minnesota. It's really like 100,000. An entire city of people.
Within the city.
Yes. That on the one hand are the leaders try and be engaged to a nominal level in our culture, but mostly they're living in their own culture with Sharia law and their culture. And it's very easy within that culture to become disenfranchised from our culture because they're not making any effort to really meld.
Don't they like to go fishing?
I barely like to go fishing.
There's a bunch of lakes in Lakeville.
Are we really counting that as a transition? I don't think we should.
All right, I'll turn that off.
Rusty's like, can we just de-escalate this whole conversation?
Well, I'll just say this.
Can we stand down?
I must say, I want to clarify because I feel horrible. My FU wasn't to you.
Oh, no,
my
I
FU was
understand.
to the terrorists.
Right.
No, I get
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So I didn't want the listeners to go, did he just tell Miss
No,
Shannon to
no,
F
yeah.
off? No,
Because
no.
we will riot.
Yeah,
They
they-
will come after you.
Yeah, they will.
No, I
He's
was
got a
worried
fan
about hurting
base.
your feelings.
No,
So
I
my
appreciate
FU
it.
wasn't to you. It was
Thank
to the terrorists. I didn't
Yeah.
want the terrorists to win.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I agree with portions of what you were saying.
That's more than he usually gets from any woman. So we're doing great.
Well, here's something that I found crazy in Arizona.
This morning, an Arizona school bus driver is under investigation for allegedly locking rowdy kids on board. Look at this. Surveillance video shows the chaotic scene. Kids were crying and frantically pleading to get off the bus. Vladimir Dutier of our digital network CBSN shows us how parents responded. Vlad, good morning.
Good morning. The driver claims he locked the children inside because they were being too loud and misbehaving. The parents who were at the bus stop waiting for their kids say it was an unjust punishment. What happened after was captured all on surveillance video.
He wouldn't let them off the bus with their parents outside.
Okay, can I use this as a... People go, Miss Shannon, you're not from here. Where are you from? And I go, Arizona. And they go, really? Why do you stay here? This is part of the reason why I stay here.
What is that? Oh. Are you playing audio?
Oh,
it's Chuck.
I'm posting the article. I thought Rusty was playing. So I'm posting that bus.
No, there's some ad playing in the background, Chuck. Can you turn your ad blocker on, please?
I was trying to post the thing to the foot.
Shout out to
the
Courtney.
page.
What are you up to?
I thought that was you as well, Rusty.
Even
I was looking
Courtney
at you
runs
like,
the board better. My God.
I was like, was that an Arizona reference?
Yeah, I
You're
thought,
like,
wow, you're not hooked up to the board. How are you doing that, Miss Shannon?
See, in this, for me, it will give you some insight into how great I think you are, Rusty, because I thought this was some elaborate joke that you were doing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought it was all a big setup, and it was just a big
He's
letdown.
like he knew that Shannon was from Arizona, and now we got somebody banging on the door.
I will be posting that after the show because apparently audio comes up when I try.
Well, is it that URL thing or
no.
don't
It's
touch
an
it?
ad on the
we're not
background.
touching
It's an
anything
ad on the
this
background
board.
on the page
So
because they sneak
Arizona.
those things.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I really don't miss it because we do. I mean, we're known for right now craziness, the extreme heat, and racism. And so, I will stay here in Minnesota because we do have
Is that
places.
out the bumper, by
yeah,
the way?
well,
sticker?
yeah, that's what it is. You kind of
Arizona.
think, and then we come here, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay in Lakeville because
Yeah.
Lakeville is nice.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Nice
chill.
places here are nice.
Don't forget kidnappings and murdered jet skiers.
It's
So
just
there's that.
frustrating. It's very frustrating, and so I don't go back there often, and I don't visit often, and I just keep track of my family that's still there on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I like the Facebook.
Especially,
I feel like now this guy, he's obviously not going to be able to keep his bus driving job. But,
Right.
But maybe like security truck driver.
Yeah.
Like I will not open that door.
Yeah.
the crazy.
Also, he could be a
But the
Baltimore
fact that
cop. He drive around in the van.
But the fact the kids are trapped on the bus, the parents, as a parent, I would have lost my mind. I'm
Yeah.
watching you hold my kid hostage, and
Yeah.
then you start saying things like, see, your parents are upset. They want you to calm
Yeah.
down so I
Well,
can
here-
let you off the bus.
Here's a little bit more of that. Listen to this.
This morning, an Arizona
Oh wait, it just
school bus driver
re-queued.
is
I
under
blame Chuck.
investigation
It's my
for-
fault.
Anyway, yes, the story is the parents were outside the bus and he wouldn't let them off because they were being rowdy.
And the kids
then
are
he
screaming
drove
and he
away.
drove away.
He drove away.
He
Nice.
drove them back to school.
Kidnapping.
You don't
seriously.
get to do that kind of thing. Okay.
I think he got fired.
Well, the comments,
imagine.
the comments on the page are amazing. As I was pulling it up here, and obviously you heard the audio, but the comments, the first comment on there is "Bravo to this bus driver. I'm glad someone is finally taking charge."
You don't know how bad these kids were doing. I can't think of anything that my son is doing that's bad enough that you shouldn't just go, get him, take him home. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Let me know what the situation is. I will take my child home and I will handle
In
it.
front of the bus,
Here we go.
trying to exit, but the driver wouldn't unlock the door.
Oh, you can't understand.
Oh my!
Four children were inside. Many cried and screamed for their parents who were at the bus stop. Some parents tried to pry open the doors. Others called 911.
I would have
been there
called.
for 10 minutes and he's not letting any of the kids out.
Then the driver takes off.
The kids are crying. He's actually driving away.
Okay,
With all our kids.
Adam.
I mean, he's got all our kids on the bus.
He takes the kids back to Dicer Elementary School, where they were released from the bus.
Listening to this is causing me anxiety right now.
I had no idea what he was doing. I didn't know if he was, went crazy and was going to go.
Yeah.
crash
That's what I'm
outside.
thinking.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I would think this guy's taking my kids away to kill them.
Yes.
Conducting an investigation. putting
Yeah.
the driver on
With all the press of crashed airplanes and all that stuff.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah,
I'd have been
I'd be
panicking.
terrified.
There's no way.
I used to go on calls like this because when I worked midwatch, we'd be on during the school bus hours, and we'd go on call. Not quite this extent, but yeah, the buses would get out of control. You'd be there managing a kid full of elementary
Obviously,
school
the bus
kids.
driver, he had issues with the kids.
Oh.
He needed to take his security tape
Yeah.
of their misbehavior
Yeah.
to his bosses and his supervisors and the teachers saying,
Because you are not empowered
These
to handle
kids-
this way.
Right.
these kids are crazy. You got to stop this behavior or they're not going to be able to ride the bus anymore.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody that is appropriate that can handle these kind of things and deal with the situation. And if they need, if there's some sort of steps that need to be taken, you don't get to empower yourself. This is not like, self-imposed martial law on the bus suddenly because the driver's having a bad day with these
He
awful
needed
kids.
to take those kids fishing. Which, by the way, we're going to be live from the Governor's Fishing Opener this
We
Friday.
are just phoning it in.
I love your segues, Rusty. Gate and B have the best segues.
Hey, we got to take a break, all right? When we come back, we'll talk about the mayor's future.
The Twin Cities Hit Show. We'll be right back.
MacMen. Don't let your computer problems drive you mad. We are MacMen, Minnesota's premier tech consultants and problem solvers for Macs, mobile devices, troubleshooting, training, and much more. No more dragging your computer all over town because we come to you. We love making house calls to your home or small business. MacMen. Call 612-345-8005. The Alive and Social Network is alive and growing. From the best in sports, music, movies, and beer, Alive and Social is what all the cool kids click on. Featuring characters like radio rebel Jeff Dubay, Star Tribune pundit Jim Suhan, Unfiltered, and television veteran and handsome man Rusty Gatenby. You can also taste the Minnesota Pubcast with Jason and Molly. Join the band with live band karaoke night from legendary O'Gara's in St. Paul and the live music showcase from Shamrocks. Yes, Alive and Social Network does indeed rock and roll. The Jeff Dubay Show, Jim Suhan Unfiltered, the Rusty Gatenby Review, the Minnesota Pubcast with Jason and Molly, live band karaoke, and Shamrock's live music showcase. Join the fun. Be alive and social with the Alive and Social Network.
With Suhan Unfiltered, sports columnist for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, Jim Suhan presents in-depth conversations with the best writers and sports personalities in the area. Suhan brings professional journalism flavor without the verbal censoring. Find out what unfiltered really means. Only on the Alive and Social Network. SuhanUnfiltered.com.
You're listening to the Twin Cities Hit Show. Say it fast 3 times. We just dare you.
Time's gone inside out. Time gets to start it.
So we settled any of the world's issues?
And I'm just hoping that you have a light, fluffy story because I'm still over here having a parental anxiety attack over the story about the bus driver driving off with the bus full of kids.
Oh, wait.
So,
We just got a tweet. Can I read it? Yeah. This is from Al-Shabaab. Thank you. We surrender. No more terrorism.
See?
Yeah.
I knew it would
thanks.
work.
I'm glad
I knew
that,
it would
and
work.
rainbows
Thanks,
and
Al-Shabaab.
kittens for everyone.
Stop by my house for Thanksgiving dinner.
There's a little viral video going out. There was a band Incognito playing on a subway platform. Recognize that song? It's bad quality because it's a cell phone. Yeah, U2 went in disguise.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
And started playing on a subway platform.
Oh, love it.
Because they're collecting all of this for Jimmy Fallon on Friday, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Well, which is good news for U2 fans because there was a while there where Bono said he may not ever be able to play again.
Oh, that's right.
Because of his injury. But looks like he's back.
Right. And could you imagine that you think it's just regular old buskers? Is that what they're buskers?
Yeah.
Kind of thing? Anyway, you're like,
Playing
oh.
for
Yeah. And then
quarters and tips.
and you're like, wait a minute. That would be awesome.
There was a funeral yesterday of a guy who I'd never heard of, but check out who attended his funeral.
Including Facebook boss Mark Zuckerberg, former Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner, actor Ben Affleck, and director George Lucas. Singer Bono began the memorial with a rendition of U2's hit song, One.
Right?
Minnesota dude.
Is he?
I assume we're talking about the funeral for the...
Goldberg?
Yeah.
He's from Minnesota?
Yeah, he went to Breck.
Oh, wow.
Seriously, I did not know.
Graduated in 89 from Breck.
And he is married to the COO of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And his company was Survey Monkey.
Yes. Yeah.
So as a couple, they were worth billions of dollars.
Yeah.
He died unexpectedly on a Mexican vacation.
Yep, just like us.
Our
Yeah,
friend. Mhm.
yeah.
But it's like, I'd never heard of the guy.
Yeah.
And then it was
No,
like,
I know. Yeah, and also a tribal member.
Yeah.
Yay, Jews. We're good people.
but I mean, I wonder how you got to know Bono, and how do you get to know George
Zuckerberg,
Lucas?
man.
Yeah, and it does sound like
everybody.
he was like, I mean, when you look at the way that people are weighing in, it was like he seemed like such a kind of quiet, jovial,
Yeah.
just nice guy. And that, you know, his
Yeah.
wife was the one that had the Lean In book and all these things. It was much more outspoken of
Yeah.
the couple. But you're like you said, like this super nice, like
Yeah.
well-connected guy
Yep.
that suddenly isn't there anymore. So.
By the way, Bono, I know you're listening. I would like you to sing at my funeral as well. So I'm just putting it out there, right? I expect that to happen.
Good call.
If you start doing, you have to do something that would be viral to get his attention, and then he will be at your funeral or make a nice memorial to you.
You're looking
like
at my
Ryan
viral.
Gosling did. Like Ryan, did you guys see that story about? So
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, and I'll back you up because I didn't warn you that we were going to talk about this. So, but
It's hard to do because it's a
it's a
video-based
yeah,
story, but it's a
so,
good story.
Somebody who was this other notable Ryan who had a very viral collection of Vine videos. So if you were a fan of the celebrities eating cereal, that kind of took off from this guy's Vine, which was Ryan Gosling won't eat his cereal. And so it would be these Vines of different Ryan Gosling video clips, and this guy
from
coming
movies,
at from movies,
famous scenes from Ryan Gosling.
yeah, or TV clips, and
a
he would.
spoonful of cereal appears in frame.
Yes, and then then Ryan Gosling turns away or ignores
Yeah.
and stuff. And so this guy who had this really funny series of video lost his battle to cancer, I believe, over the weekend. And Ryan Gosling actually signed on and did a very nice sign off for him, and actually a final Vine video for him and the family where he eats the cereal.
He finally eats the cereal.
And it sounds so silly, but it was one of those things because I had followed this guy on Vine and I'd laughed. So I actually felt myself getting a little emotional when I saw Ryan Gosling make his response. And it's funny where you catch yourself going, how little things like that can just be very touching. And it wasn't, I think it's great that Ryan Gosling took a little moment to do that.
What was his name? Matt Henry or something? I
Ryan Henry, wasn't it?
But his cancer journey became part of his Vines, too. So people got invested into his struggle. And that was cool, that Ryan. What is that noise?
It's a motorcycle.
Yes.
I was thought,
so if you wonder if we are robots or if we were, no, we are real people that are doing a real show with real cars and vehicles that are driving by.
And one last thing about Jimmy Fallon, by the way. He's such a musical person. The other day, he did you see the video he did with Jack Black?
I didn't. I saw about that. Now, remind me what he did.
Well, first of all, Jimmy Fallon has sung with Bob Dylan. He's sung with Bono. He's sung with Bruce Springsteen. Here he is singing with Jack Black, and they're in 90s wigs and such. But listen to this.
It's not the words I want to hear from you. It's not that I want you not to say it, but if you only knew how
We got to get to the harmony part.
Is this Jack or Jimmy here? Jack?
This is Jack.
That's Jack.
And then Jimmy does the harmonies.
more than words.
This is the best either of them have ever sounded, just so you know. Could the three of us do that? Well, four of us. I forgot that we were Mayor.
I'm out.
Mayor, you're
I'm
not.
out.
Cause I already know.
So that's something Leno could never do.
Talk
Johnny
about
Carson
exceeding
could never do.
expectations.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy Fallon is so music-based. Like, one of my favorite things that he does is when they perform popular songs with school instruments.
Elementary school instruments.
And you forget that because so many things are kind of off the cuff and he throws these things together. But the fact that when they actually spend some time to do this, even like Jack Black, because so much of his, yes, he has a band and he does all this stuff and he performs, but it's usually so humor-based that you don't think he could actually sing.
Incredibly talented. Wow. Yeah.
All right, so, Mayor, now we're going to talk politics. You strike me as someone who has got ambitions.
People think so. No.
No.
My childhood dream is governor. I mean, that's that's
Nice, okay.
That's what I'm in here to do, and I've been aiming for it since I was 14.
Now, how do you decide when you're going
That
to
is
take
an
that next
that's
step?
ambition.
Like, how do you look? Like, what window are you looking for? How do you decide you're ready?
You know, I operate a little differently. You know, a lot of politicians will wait for the right race or something they think they can they can win easily. For me, I got to get tuned up. I got to get a little bit angry about something if something's going wrong. For me to get passionate and into the race.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. Right now I love being mayor. But if something happens that irks me, I'm in. I'm in.
Well, promise me this. When you do your Governor's Fishing Opener, which will be live this Friday from Lake Vermilion, that your Governor's Fishing Opener, Chuck and I will get a really good cabin.
Yeah. Is the show over now, or
you will keep us? You'll keep the openers up north. Well, once you're governor, the next step in line.
Yep.
Is there a president's fishing opener that we need to start working on?
I'm not old enough to be president.
35.
You got to be 35, so I can't even announce yet.
Do you ever think about the president and the responsibility and his day just has to be insane.
That's
being
crazy.
Updated by a crisis here, economic situation there.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the Super Bowl team needs a photo op.
And clearly not a part-time position like the mayor of Lakeville. No, not a part-time.
See,
job.
I do think about that. In comparison to the mayorship, because there's some days I can't keep up with it. The emails, the phone calls, all the online stuff. I cannot imagine what it's like to be president. I mean, you don't get to sleep, you don't get to do anything. Yeah. Every time you go on a vacation, that's political fodder for the other side. I mean, It's just intense.
Well, I could
don't know
probably
how you do that.
inform you guys on that. I just finished season 2 of House of Cards,
Okay.
so
Good.
I'm pretty dialed in on what's going on in the presidency. Yeah.
And yet,
that means you're behind, as
Yeah.
usual.
Aren't there 3 seasons?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm catching up.
Yeah.
Does it not sound appealing, though?
What part?
Being in charge of the biggest nation in the world, you'd be the most powerful man in the world.
This is going to sound hokey, but it's absolutely true, man. I love Minnesota, and that's why I want to be governor, man. How great it would be to your job is to travel Minnesota and represent all of Minnesota. I mean, that's the best job in the world in my book. It doesn't get any better.
You gained so much respect for me just now as a politician, not because I believe anything that you just said, but because I think that is the perfect answer for that question. You didn't know exactly. I would have thought that you sat in your bathroom and said, one of these days, someone's going to ask me if I want to aspire to a greater office, and I know I need to say no. My priority is Minnesota. That was brilliant. High five, man. High five. That was awesome.
Are you loving the new stadium that's rising up in downtown Minneapolis? And do you agree how Governor Dayton got it done?
Here's the deal, and Miss Shannon, you're going to love this answer too, but the politics doesn't matter anymore. We're going to have a building that we're going to be proud of. And I did actually I was in court last week.
I hate this
Hold
answer.
Hold on.
I know
Hold on. Now,
that is a non-answer.
Let me finish and distract you before you call me on it. All right. I was in court in Minneapolis last week, and I specifically made a point to drive by, and it's going to be incredible, and it's going to be something we're proud of. So let's move on.
Didn't you lobby to have some of these things in
Let's
Lakeville?
not move on. I have you in the hot seat.
Let's not move on.
That whole downtown is going to be revitalized. Not only is
Absolutely.
it a big building, not only is it a fancy stadium, which is awesome, that whole downtown area is going to have a resurgence.
Absolutely.
So, and people, I'm guessing, of your suit and tie fought against it.
Yeah, there's some, and the problem with I can't give you an accurate answer is because I'm not privy to the discussions and negotiations that happened between the governor and the legislature and the Vikings. They didn't invite me. They should have.
Next time.
Yeah,
Always a bridesmaid.
They should have. But I think in those situations, you've got to make a very tough choice, right? It is a negotiation as to whether or not you put money on the table or you don't. I think the facts bear out that we kept the Vikings in Minnesota. And that's what I know from an outside perspective, and that is an absolutely good thing. The jobs it's created for the last 2 years is an absolutely good thing.
Because the favors and consideration, the tax breaks that were done for the Vikings, Best Buy enjoys certain tax breaks and benefits as well, as does Target, as does General Mills, as does Cargill.
Yep.
Well, they screwed soccer.
There was an emotional debate, in my opinion, more than an actual debate. We're helping the rich owners. They should just leave.
Nobody
Can you
wants
imagine
them to
leave.
Minnesota?
Not that simple.
But that's
without the Vikings.
That's that's the quintessential problem of partisanship, right? When one side is proffering something to do something, the other side almost automatically does the opposite and tries to make hay. And I think that's the problem. With politics.
Here's the question. All right, so
especially these days, it seems.
It's more and more.
Are you party affiliated right now?
No, I'm in a nonpartisan office.
That's what I
so,
thought. Yeah. So if you had to, or are you willing to even go on record of saying what you would be if you did run for governor?
I'm a DFLer.
Okay.
I'm a DFLer, absolutely.
Okay. Now, if you're in a city like Lakeville, how do you decide if you need to weigh in? Like, I know that, like, Shakopee is trying to have other things built in their cities, and there's other smaller ones that are trying to have movies filmed there. How do you decide if you are, for your city, if it's best to lobby for something like, we want to be in the running for a stadium, or we want the soccer teams to play here, or something like that?
Yeah, for stadiums, that's an extreme example and is a really easy choice for us. We would not want a stadium in Lakeville. You know, that's not the nature of our community.
Right.
We do take swings in a good way, in a baseball sense, at some businesses that are looking to move and come in. And you know, when I first got elected, that was one of my priorities, was to set up some incentives and an incentive program that we could use if we wanted a certain company to come to Lakeville. And we've put it to use a couple times.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So where are you at? I know a hot debate in Lakeville, and I don't want to talk too local politics, but the big debate is Muni liquor. Lakeville's one of the last Muni liquor cities, at least big cities. And
what does that mean specifically?
Sorry, I'll let you speak to it.
Yeah, it's municipal liquor. That means the liquor operations are run by the city. Actually, 25% of Minnesota cities are run by municipal liquor.
Wow.
Does that mean MGM can't come in?
Yep. And so within the borders...
100% all liquor in Lakeville
it's run by the city.
Yeah. But the debate, and it hasn't been a real hot debate, but the debate is letting companies like Costco come in. Costco wanted to come in a number of years ago, and they couldn't because their model includes selling booze.
Can Costco sell actual...
Yeah, they have
beer, or is it 3-2? And
no, they have alcohol.
No, they have a liquor store
Yeah.
addition.
And they didn't want to move in without being able to build a liquor store.
Yeah, and let me dispel that myth because this was a big debate about 3 years ago in Lakeville about getting rid of municipal liquor and Costco and Trader Joe's are examples. Now, the reason Costco and Trader Joe's didn't come into Lakeville is population density. We are a huge geographic city. We're 38 square miles, and people are spread out.
Yeah.
And so each of these companies has a circumference and whatnot, and or a radius, if you want to be mathematically accurate.
Yep.
And they look at the density and how many people are in per household, and that's really their driver.
Okay.
And so a really good example is, if a Trader Joe's really needed liquor, then why aren't they in Rosemount, right? Because that's in the South Metro. They don't have municipal liquor anymore. So it's really the density and demographics.
Okay.
It's not all liquor-based.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Is that the hot subject in Lakeville? Or what is the hot subject right now?
Just growth. I mean, we're really trying to keep up with growth, build streets, sewer, and water. And, you got to balance the cost of that and how much you do each year. That's the biggest issue right now.
Yeah, and as a resident, I'll tell you, that you and I haven't talked about this, but Lakeville it's an old school city, and it really just exploded probably 15, 20 years ago. And so in terms of zoning, you'll be driving through Lakeville like, Curvy Road, there's a barn, there's a church, there's a residential area, there's another barn, there is a business complex. And so for a while, they're in terms of zoning, they were just helter-skelter. But, I mean, the growth lately has been great in the planning and the roads, and it's really, I like the direction.
Must be something to do with the leadership.
Oh, clearly, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Bring us some buttons, Mayor Little. That's what we do.
So as far as Lakeville goes and the growth and all that, the economy is chugging along.
Absolutely. We have a ridiculously low unemployment rate. It hovered at 2.9 for a few months.
Obama.
It's at 3. It's at 3.1.
I blame Obama.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
That came out wrong.
3.1.
It always does.
Yeah. So but Dakota County does very well for itself, and Minnesota as a whole on a national level is doing really well because we are the greatest state in the nation.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that.
But I want to steer you back.
You got to rein in winter just a skosh, if you can, just a little bit.
No, because then the riff-raff will stay here.
I wanted to see you go Sarah Palin on this when Rusty was asking the tough question. Look, Rusty, I want to get back. Barack Obama is ruining this country, and that's what I want to stick to.
Lakeville is succeeding despite Barack Obama.
Wow.
Hey, remember, McCain was here in 08.
Can I just tell you this? Don't take Chuck's advice, Mayor. He's not going to help you.
I love
with the
that.
successful campaign for the governor eventually.
I've seen, it seems like once a week I see the comparisons on Facebook and social media, Wisconsin to Minnesota on economics and social issues. And I'm like, there you go. What more do we have to say?
Right.
Facts kind of say themselves.
We are often on the all those lists of greatest place, most healthiest cities to live,
Mhm.
things like that. So obviously there are reasons why Minnesota is fantastic, and let's figure out how to keep it that way.
And one of the reasons we are awesome is because we have Prince, who you say he's got a concert coming.
Yes, Prince, the purple one, is going to be in Baltimore, it sounds like, this weekend for a Rally for Peace concert.
Good.
He's going to perform on Mother's Day this Sunday at the Royal Farms Arena. The tickets are going to go on sale actually today, so people can do that. And Prince has been doing this series of pop-up concerts all over the place. So if he's going to do one in Baltimore, because if nothing else, the proceeds or a portion of the proceeds are supposed to go for a number of charities and nonprofits there in city rebuilding. But it's also, if anybody could come into a community and distract you from awfulness, it's Prince, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, I thought I was going to loot. But Prince is here on Sunday night. Let's clean up for Prince. Come on, everybody.
That looting has quieted it down, right?
Yeah.
The rioting,
It
it's all quieted
Thanks
down.
to Prince and Barack Obama.
So the two things I wanted to say about Prince. First of all, because I grew up in Wayzata and then lived in Minnetonka as an adult. And when Paisley Park popped up in Chanhassen, that was out in the country.
Yeah.
And now the
Yeah.
city has kind of surrounded Paisley Park.
Yeah.
But Mayor Prince, for some reason, he loves Lakeville. He calls you at 2 a.m. and says, Mayor, I want to show up and do a concert. Where would he play in Lakeville?
Oh, we'd go to Antlers Park on Lake Marion.
Good call.
That's probably our best venue. Prince probably doesn't need it, but we'd offer some tax incentives if he wants to come down.
I always
and
afford
throw
that.
a concert.
This 4th of July, everybody. I heard it here first. Prince at Lakeville.
So that'd be amazing. Yeah. That'd be amazing. I'd answer that call.
I'll see what I do. A lot of the bookings for guests here. I'll see what I can do for you, Mayor.
Yeah, work
thank
on
you,
that.
sir.
Yeah.
Prince, before you play Lakeville, we need you on this show, all right? I know
Make the announce on Twin Cities Hit Show.
We've already booked the Rolling Stones. They're going to be here June 3rd on the big Twin Cities Hit Show.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're aware of that yet, but we have them slotted.
Well, and I'm confused. Is Prince going to open for Bono, or is it vice versa? We've invited a lot of people today.
Well, it's
They're
one
both
of
going to
those
be the
shows.
warm-up acts for Coldplay. 'Cause Coldplay's going to be here as well. It's a festival. It's the Twin Cities Hit Show Festival.
Well,
is what it is.
We're running out of time here, and I almost hate to end it this way, but Chuck, do you have...
Oh, jeez.
I want to draw a comparison between the great state of Minnesota, as the mayor's pointed out, and Florida. Because there's an article about the straight poop about Florida's public defecators. Florida may be known as the Sunshine State, but its police are constantly having to deal with where the sun don't shine. Well-written article. In the last 30 months, Florida has had at least 5 people arrested on charges that include some form of inappropriate defecation. The last Floridian accused of crappy behavior is Caitlin Falegi, 18, who was arrested after breaking into her ex-boyfriend's home. As she was being driven to jail, she defecated in the back of the squad car. She intentionally removed her pants and pooped all over the police
Ew.
cruiser. That has happened to me. This is a thing.
As a point of retribution for you arresting them?
You've been locked in the back of a squad and pooped
Yes,
in
I
it?
have, and I really had to go. Yeah.
Why would you do that, Chuck?
I don't know.
So somebody got
As a
mad at
former
you.
cop, don't do that anymore.
You arrested them,
Is
they
that
got
her?
mad, and they did that to
Yes.
you. Wow.
She looks like suburban
No,
mom.
no, this is the next. There's a breakdown of the public pooping incidents. There's 5 of them. In March, Amy Goldberg, one of my people, 57, accused of smearing dog poop on the face and arms of a neighbor who
She
pooped
looks
on
like a
the
suburban
suspect.
mom. Now, she looks like a pooper.
Yeah, she looks like a pooper. This is Patricia Ann Jameson, arrested in April last year after deputies say she pooped in an elevator at the county courthouse. And then this guy.
Is it too late to read my disclaimer?
Yes.
on the show?
I tried to tell you.
I'm telling you why Minnesota is better than Florida. Yeah. So go in and read on these, but I just want to say that in Minnesota and backing up the mayor's platform, Minnesota's a great state, and we don't have 5 documented incidents of
We
public
only have
police
one
pooping.
that happened to Chuck, and it was probably his fault.
Yeah. It was Cinco de Mayo yesterday.
Well, I know one place where there won't be pooping. At the Governor's Fishing Opener this weekend. We'll be live at Lake Virginia. Mayor, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Where can we find you, Mr. Mayor?
I'm guessing Lakeville.
Yeah, well,
at
socially
at
media.
City Hall every Friday from 9 to 10:30. I'm also on Twitter at Mayor Matt Little. You can find me on Facebook, Matt Little. Really creative on that one.
Yeah. Well, how'd you come up
That's
with
all
the
right.
Mayor Matt Little? I like that one.
Yeah,
That's
it was
clever.
given to me.
Yeah.
I am following
by
you
the
now.
people.
Yes.
By your mom and dad.
And I will say this in all sincerity. I think for someone to have a quick sense of humor shows a sign of intelligence. And by the way, our president was effing funny this last correspondence dinner.
Yes.
Didn't you think?
Oh, God, yeah.
It was pretty good.
He has good comic delivery. So you, Mayor, got a great sense of humor. I would vote for you any day. So
And I'm
good
sure the
luck.
debates would be fantastic. So watching you have to do a political debate, I would enjoy that.
They're not even debates.
I look forward to your governor's fishing opener.
Thank you, sir.
Which, by the way, we uploaded this Friday. Who do we have on the show tomorrow? Isaac Whitty.
Is it Isaac Whitty? Yeah, it's,
Thursday, Isaac
okay.
Whitty.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's Isaac Whitty.
Jennifer will be here, too, the co-host of the Rusty Gameby Review.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we'll have a full house.
Allegedly, Isaac Whitty, he had a very public apology where he slept in and forgot to come.
Oh, he can't blow us off twice.
Oh, he could.
Yeah, he
very
could.
much
he
could.
It's Isaac Whitty, man. He could blow us off.
All right, well, make it a good hump day, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow on the Twin Cities Hit Show. Look for Miss Shannon tonight on the Tony Fly
Yes,
Show.
on the fly on My 29.
My 29, 11 o'clock tonight. All right, make it a good one, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Couldn't make things new just by saying